Welcome to Ghost Files, where the shadows speak and mysteries come alive. If you love chilling stories, haunted places, and the unexplained, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated on the darkest tales from around the world. Let's dive into today's haunting. The shattered reflection of Blackwood Asylum. The old, abandoned Blackwood Asylum on the outskirts of town was a place where locals whispered about the unspeakable horrors that had taken place within its crumbling walls. The asylum had been shut down decades ago after a series of gruesome patient deaths and allegations of inhumane experiments. Despite its dark history, a group of friends, all seasoned thrill seekers, decided to explore the asylum on a stormy Halloween night. As they approached the entrance, a chill ran down their spines. The massive iron gates creaked ominously in the wind, and the building loomed before them like a specter. They cautiously made their way inside, flashlights casting eerie shadows on the walls. The group explored the decaying hallways, discovering evidence of the asylum's troubled past. Rusted medical equipment, patient records scattered on the floor, and cryptic messages scrawled on the walls in blood. But nothing could have prepared them for what lay ahead. In the basement, they stumbled upon a room filled with shattered mirrors. Glass littered the floor, and in the center of the room, a single, intact mirror hung on the wall. The group approached it hesitantly, sensing something was off. As they gazed into the mirror, their reflections began to distort and stretch like wax melting in a furnace. Suddenly, the mirror exploded, showering them in shards of glass. When the fragments settled, they saw a figure standing behind them in the reflection, a figure that wasn't there in real life. It was a nurse, her face twisted in a malevolent grin, her eyes black as coal. The group spun around, but there was no one there. One by one, the friends began to vanish, dragged into the darkness by an unseen force. The last one remaining, Sarah, stumbled upon a hidden logbook belonging to Dr. Blackwood, the asylum's former director. The entries detailed twisted experiments involving mirrors and the supernatural. The final entry read, "The reflections have broken free." As Sarah read the words, the nurse's face appeared behind her in a nearby window pane, her reflection seared into the glass. Sarah's screams were drowned out by the storm as the nurse's grin grew wider, and the glass shattered, forever trapping Sarah's reflection alongside the nurse's. The next morning, police found Sarah's car abandoned outside the asylum gates, the engine still running. She was never seen again. The locals whispered about the shattered reflections of Blackwood Asylum, a place where the horrors within the mirrors had been unleashed, and those who entered never escaped. The echoes of Raven's Peak. In the depths of the Pacific Northwest, there stood an isolated mountain known as Raven's Peak, shrouded in mystery and feared by the local Native American tribes. The legend went that anyone who ventured too close to the peak would never return, and those who did would be forever changed by the experience. Journalist Olivia Reed, known for her fearless investigative reporting, became intrigued by the stories surrounding Raven's Peak. Determined to uncover the truth, she assembled a team of experts. Dr. Jenkins, a geologist, Mark, a seasoned climber, and Rachel, a paranormal investigator. As they ascended the peak, the group encountered an eerie atmosphere. The trees seemed to twist and writhe, and an unsettling silence hung in the air. At an elevation of 8,000 feet, they stumbled upon an ancient, abandoned research facility, hidden away for decades. The team explored the facility, discovering cryptic logs from a team of scientists who had conducted experiments on the unique sonic properties of the mountain. The researchers had been investigating the echoes, strange, whispery voices that seemed to emanate from the peak itself. As night fell, the group settled in to rest, but they soon found themselves bombarded by the echoes. Whispers of forgotten memories, long-held secrets, and dark desires flooded their minds, making it impossible to sleep. The voices seemed to know their deepest fears and desires. One by one, the team members began to succumb to the echo's psychological manipulation. Dr. Jenkins became convinced that the mountain was alive, whispering ancient secrets in his ear. Mark started to see visions of his deceased loved ones, calling out to him. Rachel's obsession with the paranormal turned into a dark fixation, driving her to communicate with the echoes at any cost. Olivia, the last one standing, realized that the echoes were not just random sounds, but a manifestation of the mountain's dark energy. The research team's experiments had awakened a malevolent force, and now it was feeding on their deepest fears. As the night wore on, Olivia's grip on reality began to slip. The echoes grew louder, more urgent, and she felt herself being pulled toward the peak's summit. In a desperate bid to escape, she fled the facility, but the echoes followed, whispering her darkest secrets to the world. The next morning, a search party found Olivia's camera, still rolling, at the base of the mountain. The footage revealed the team's descent into madness, the echo's manipulation, and Olivia's final, frantic moments. The video ended with Olivia's voice, whispering her own darkest secrets, forever trapped in the echoes of Raven's Peak. The mountain remained standing, its secrets buried beneath the whispers of the wind. Some say that on certain nights, when the wind is just right, you can still hear Olivia's voice echoing through the forest, a haunting reminder of the horrors that lie within the heart of Raven's Peak. The last station on Elm Street. In the heart of downtown, on Elm Street, stood an old, abandoned train station that had been closed for decades. The once grand building, with its intricate stonework and stained glass windows, now loomed over the city like a ghostly sentinel. Despite its history and architectural beauty, the station had become a magnet for urban explorers and thrill seekers. A group of friends, all seasoned adventurers, decided to explore the station on a crisp autumn night. As they approached the entrance, they noticed something peculiar. The doors, once padlocked and chained, now stood slightly ajar. A faint, flickering light emanated from within. Cautiously, they stepped inside, their footsteps echoing off the walls. The air was thick with dust and the scent of decay. In the main hall, they discovered a lone, antique lantern hanging from the ceiling, casting an eerie glow. The group began to explore the station, uncovering remnants of a bygone era. Old ticket booths, rusted train tracks, and vintage luggage carts. As they ventured deeper, they stumbled upon a hidden room, sealed away behind a false wall. Inside, they found a series of cryptic journals belonging to a former station master, Henry Ellis. The entries detailed strange occurrences and unexplained events that had plagued the station during its operational years. One entry, dated October 30th, 1955, caught their attention. The last train of the season departed tonight, but I fear it did not leave alone. The whispers in the darkness, the shadows that move of their own accord. I fear the station has become a gateway to something sinister. As they read the words, the lantern above began to swing ominously, casting long, ominous shadows on the walls. The group heard the distant sound of a train whistle, growing louder with each passing moment. Suddenly, the lights flickered and died, plunging them into darkness. In the blackness, they felt the presence of something ancient and malevolent, drawn forth from the depths of the station. The train whistle grew deafening, and the group realized they were not alone. The last thing they saw was the station's clock tower, its face twisted into a grotesque grin, before everything went dark. The next morning, police found the group's abandoned vehicles outside the station, engines still running. The friends were never seen again. The station on Elm Street remained standing, its secrets locked within its crumbling walls. Some say that on certain nights, when the wind is just right, you can still hear the sound of a train departing, carrying its cargo of lost souls into the darkness, forever trapped in the last station on Elm Street.